from Wisconsin, a man who's the reigning, defending, undisputed MVP of the NFL, fresh out of a bye week. Was that son of a bitch in LA? Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah!
What's up, dude?
What's up, guys?
Hey, I saw you in LA, man. What was that? Did you get surgery? Did we get surgery on the foot? And was that you in LA in those photos?
I think if you look at the feet and maybe the car, you would know that was me.
What happened? What was it out there? Did anything pop up? Was it just precautionary because it's bye week? You have a little extra time. You want to learn about yourself, or how was that decision made?
I wanted to get a second opinion on my toe. We got an incredible doctor here in Wisconsin who many people across the country will send their issues to, foot, ankle, toe, whatever. But I think it's always important, regardless of what you're interested in, of getting multiple opinions on the subject, especially when it comes to medical things that you might not be an expert at. So I went out and saw
Dr. Joe
fantastic doctors out there, and had some good conversations, and thankful for that opportunity to gather some more information.
Were you able to make a stop in Austin maybe on the way back to get a third opinion? And if so, what did you learn about your toe throughout these trips?
I wasn't able to make it to Austin just yet, but Dana White sure is doing pretty good.
Oh! Hey, when you saw that, was that are you guys in a group text? It's like, hey, Dr. Joe Rogan's patients, and did you guys just fucking put all the dunks on? Did you do that? Is that what that was?
No, I definitely saw the clip.
Okay.
I know Dana just a little bit, but I'm happy for him and his wife and their kids and his 80-year-old mother-in-law. That's what gets lost, I think, too often into this, is that they're all doing well. So I'm happy they're all over COVID and doing really well. But no, I didn't go to Austin. I did get some great information about my foot. There was nothing really revolutionary. There was no mindset change or anything. The biggest key is rest. I wish that there was another one of these weeks so I could get 14 to 21 great days without doing anything. But, the toe is improving, and we'll see how it feels later in the week.
I learned how you could get 10 days, although I don't think we should go back through that whole process there. How do you feel, though? It's late in the season already, going into week 14. You guys coming out of a bye week in which you looked fantastic the week before. Is this just status quo, like the broken toe? Is this just understood that this is going to happen? And if you have to get rest, are you normally a guy that misses practice and it doesn't matter, or is this going to be a little bit of a routine breaker for you?
Well, it's kind of the habit now. It takes 21 days to form a habit, so we're going on that many days and not really doing a whole lot of practicing. Last year, I was very proud to say that I didn't miss one day of practice and wasn't on the injury report one time. I mean, that's kind of a rarity, I think, for anybody that's played quarterback as long as I have. And really just about any position, there's going to be something that's going to put you on the list one way or another, and you might miss practice here and there as precaution or because you're dinged up or banged up. But last year was amazing. I mean, I felt incredible. Obviously, that's not the case this year. Missing obviously a number of practices now. I'm not going to disparage practice and say that's not important. I think it is important. I think there's things to be talked out and figured out during the week by practicing and taking those reps. At the same time, I'm old enough. I've been in this league long enough. I've played enough games where I can still go out and perform at a really high level without practicing.
And you mentioned if you got surgery, your toe would be immobilized. Would that be for how long?
For the rest of the season.
Well, they just put a
little
pin
baby
in?
cast on it?
Yeah.
They put a pin in to prevent any further displacement of the fracture. So that would immobilize my toe. That's that's not option number 1 or 2, I don't think. But if things were to progress or get much worse, then that would be something to avoid any further damage.
So we're not ruling out that this could potentially happen throughout the rest of the season still. And you said last week that you could get the surgery on a Monday and still play on a Sunday. Has that all that information been confirmed? Is that the mindset going forward with LaFleur and everybody?
Well, I mean, LaFleur's not a doctor, but he is a close party to the situation, and I think any decision that's made would be one that allows me to play. I'm not going to miss any games. I've obviously played with much bigger injuries, different parts of my body, and This, although it's a small pinky toe, it's definitely painful and creates some issues. But I'm not going to miss any games because of it. To me, I just didn't think it made sense, and neither did Dr. Bob Anderson, to do surgery right after a game. So we wanted to give it a week to see how I felt, and it's definitely feeling better. And we're hopeful that we can get to the end of this week and be feeling really good, and maybe kind of get on the other side of this thing.
Okay, and the murmur you heard there is Zito, who's a Bears fan, who seems to care about you a lot more now. Says take another week off.
Come on.
That's what he's thinking as a Bears fan. And we'll get to Sunday night. We'll get to Sunday Night Football, which in Lambeau with the Bears is going to be awesome, especially coming off of you telling them that you are their landlord and all that shit. But we'll talk about that at some point during the bye week. There, I know a lot of conversation around your toe. Is there a real self-scout? Like, was there anything that, because I don't think you were able to travel unless the NFL allowed you to LA. Is there full self-scout, and do teams really change in the bye week, especially this late in the season? Is that something that actually happens?
I mean, I don't know. I think some of that's overblown probably. I think that there's definitely some self-scout that goes on. A lot of times just kind of a reinforcement of what you already know. I think there's enough self-scout going on, on Mondays and Tuesdays by the coaches as they look back through the previous game and the previous games to think about what's been working, what hasn't worked, what they've run over the last 4 or 5 games. So I think there's enough of that goes on. There might be 1 or 2 things that come out of a bye week that you might implement, but there's not a whole lot of change. You are who you are. You want to do the things you do better, put a different face on them from time to time. Obviously, there's time schematically to come up with new schemes and to, I think for most of this league, watch the other games and try and steal plays from them, plays that worked. That's kind of, I'm sure there's some of that. But the most important thing, I think, not just for the players, for the coaches, was to get away from it. And, I had some fun FaceTimes with some of the coaches, so I know that they were able to get away and not be all ball all the time. And I think that's important for not just them, but for the players as well, who got to go away and spend some time away from ball.
Hey, my dad, Pistol, actually sent me a nice article in The Athletic on your O-line coach and talked about how he's a big reason for your success. Can you talk about him and some of the rest of the guys on that staff?
Yeah, big shout out to Pistol and Judes for sure. Come on up, Judes.
Yeah, inside joke.
Yeah.
That was good.
Good times.
Jude's is awesome, though.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Pistol and Jude's fucking get going. Oh.
Have you guys been around them yet, or you?
No.
I've been around a Pistol at that one cult thing we went to.
Oh, yeah, he came to our event this year.
I know. Yeah, he wasn't wearing a mask or anything like the last time somebody showed up there. But Steno, no, remember a couple years ago, eyes wide shut.
Gotcha.
What? I didn't know that's where I was headed. That's the shit you got going on. We'll move. That's not this conversation.
He's not talking about me. He's not talking about me.
Big culture in Dublin there. Yep. Big culture. But,
Uncle.
I think we're talking about Adam Stenovich, a.k.a. Steve Stenovich. I call him Steve because we do these competitions from time to time in team meetings, and one of them was get to know your coaches. So they had an offensive player and a defensive player up there. They're asking them, you got to name the coach of, first name and last name and what position that he coaches. And I think it was Jamal Williams was like, oh, that's Steno. What's his first name? Steve. It's not Steve, it's Adam. And I actually played with him for a brief time years and years ago when we were coming out of college. But I think he's done a great job. I think Steno's a really interesting, creative person. He brings some really good schemes to the table every single week. I like his steady hand. He keeps the guys accountable and isn't afraid to raise his voice and get on those guys. But he also creates a real good environment. The O-line room has always got to be the best, loosest room in the whole place. Now it helps with David Bakhtiari because I don't think he's been serious for a day since Josh Sitton and TJ Lang left the facility. He kind of picked up where they left off, and he thinks he's the class clown of everything, and he doesn't realize most people are just laughing at him.
No. As long as they're laughing, who cares? Excuse me. So sorry to interrupt. Hey! Did you know at the age of 30, your testosterone levels start dropping 1% per year? Wow! Wow! That means you're gonna get fatter, more tired, and lose the strength that you once had. But no worries, our friends at Roman have the perfect product for you. So you can get back to banging weights, banging humans, and living your best life. $15 off right now. Get Roman.com/USA. Back to the action. Hey!
Yeah. But Steno's done a great job of taking care of those boys and getting those guys ready to play, especially with the injuries that we've had up front, Josh Myers and Elton Jenkins and obviously Dave. And then, Luke Butkus is his right hand man. Yeah, great name. Yeah, from the Butkus lineage. Obviously shot at. But yeah, man, he does a great job. Just a little strange. The dude never wears underwear.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
And he wears his pants up past his belly button. So.
Oh, so you see, yeah. Always interesting the decisions that people make, with.
Yeah, interesting. AJ made some interesting decisions over the years too.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he did. He's the most toxic human I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, he just brought up an Eyes Wide Shut party in the middle of this conversation, which, is something we will have to pivot past somehow. I don't know how. I have more questions about that because I assume you two, in the high society life that you're living in, there's a lot of weird shit you two have probably been invited to and have gone to, but we don't have enough time today. Okay, this is sports. No, the other way. Yeah, that way. Yeah. That dude, yeah, I hear about it. Yeah, all the events he goes to. But let's talk a little sports here. Bakhtiari, you just mentioned him there being a class clown. Have you talked to him during the break? How is he? Is he coming back? I thought he was coming back. Then there was a surgery. You seem to give us an update every week, which I think all Packers fans are very thankful for. He's an incredible player that you guys have not had, and you have had a lot of success thus far.
Yeah, we've had a lot of starters miss games, him being one of them. I've talked at length about his very empty promise to come back week one. If I were to come back and play for the Packers this year, that was his promise to me in the offseason.
Jumping on the waterfall.
Have you seen White Christmas? It's a great holiday movie, right?
Of course.
It's Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. You've probably never seen it. It's filmed in one of the first color movies, right? And it's about snow. AJ, you idiot.
Snow.
Thank you for clarifying.
I didn't know if it was cocaine. I didn't know if it was snow. I didn't know if it was people.
In the movie, Danny Kaye saves Bing Crosby from these bricks. They're fighting in the Second World War. These bricks are about to fall on him. Bing Crosby doesn't know what's going on. Danny Kaye saves him, right? And then he uses that one incident over and over and over to justify, him getting Bing to do things for him, right? Let's be a duo singing group. I don't think so. And then he holds onto his arm because he hurt his arm during that. Okay, fine. Hey, I want you to meet these two ladies I like. No, I'm not going to. Are you sure? I don't know. That's how Dave is this year with the golf carts. Every time I, say something or try and tease him or suggest something he doesn't like, he always brings up, you still driving the golf cart? Oh, you are? That must be nice. And just like Bing Crosby, I usually give in to his idiotic demands, but no more. This is it.
Yeah, well, is he going to play or not? Do we have him coming back? Is the golf cart giver coming back or not?
I don't think he's coming back this week.
Okay.
I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know.
Okay, so that's very open-ended. We'll ask you next week. Can't wait to hear that answer. Can I ask you about what happened last night in Buffalo? And I know Lambeau, frozen tundra, there's a lot of terrible games, but 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts. The Patriots decide, hey, we're just going to run the rock. Mac Jones is only going to throw it 3 times. Josh Allen threw it 30 times. He was 15 of 30. Terrible day. I don't think anybody was expecting any of the quarterbacks to have success. This morning, a narrative has been made that the Patriots don't need Mac Jones. They can win without him. Is that not just absurd in the world that we live in that they can find something like that, especially with the 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts? And have you ever played in anything like that?
Well, Pat, I don't want you to be a little hypocritical. You do have a segment on your show called Overreaction Monday, don't you?
Well, it's a whole day. Yeah, it's not just a segment. Yeah.
Okay.
We got lazy.
Well, that's what they're going to do. It was Overreaction Tuesday, obviously today. I think Max had a great season. I just think that their thinking was, if we have an advantage running the football, then let's keep running the football. His first pass, as you saw, the wind looked like it was blowing from looked like Buffalo's sideline pretty hard towards New England sideline, and Jonnu made that amazing kind of catch there, and then they ran some one screen pass, I believe, and one other pass. It's all about the winds, right? I played in 2007. I watched from the sidelines, thankfully, because I was absolutely frozen in my uniform. But we played Chicago Bears, and this is they were terrible that year, and we were really good, but we lost twice. We were 13-3 and lost twice to the Bears that year, 2007. One of them was late in the season, and it was like 30. AJ remembers this. It was like 30-mile-an-hour winds, gusting to 55 miles an hour, and it was like minus 30. And I tell a story. One of the most amazing passes I ever saw was Farvey was throwing a check down at Tony Fisher on the right flat, and he threw a ball that went up and over Tony's head. I mean, it would have been a ball that, it's a common, 1 foot in front of the numbers ball to the halfback. It goes over Tony's head, and Peanut Tillman's on the other side. And it's a sure interception. And it's like a Phil Necro, the greatest knuckleball of all time. I don't think Peanut even came close to touching the ball. And it was a couple yards from him. That's how bad the wind was blowing all over the place. We couldn't get a punt off, and they blocked the punt, and it was a wild game. They obviously handled the cold that day a little bit better than we did. But, it'd be like one of those things where the wind was blowing from our sideline to their sideline. Every time, like third down and fourth down, like punt, guys are throwing off their jackets. All these jackets are going on the field, 20 yards from the field. And, you got Red Batty scram out there trying to pick up all the jackets and everything. And it was, that was a rough game. We still tried to throw it. They tried to throw it a little bit, but that came down to like special teams. And as last night it did as well. If the Buffalo kicker, and look, I'm not saying that's an easy kick, but if he makes that kick, then they only got to get a field goal there on that last drive. But, I mean, that was I enjoy watching the Manning cast. Those guys do a really good job. They're pretty damn hilarious, aren't they?
Yeah, well, Letterman stinks, but everybody else was great. And that's a shame because I loved Letterman for a long time until he said he's got to ban the punt. And it's funny you mentioned, so to hell with him, because naturally I have to feel that way, even though he was good at what he did for a long time, entrepreneur, trailblazer. Fuck off, Dave. But anyways, Keep Talib was amazing. Joe Buck was wide open, even, alluded to a future divorce he might have. I mean, I agree. I enjoyed it a lot, especially with Peyton, Eli, the way they talk. I love the Monday Night Manning cast. I'm happy you do as well. I was thinking about Tyler Big Ball Bass going out there to kick that ball. The mental demons had to be there was no way he had any belief he was going to make it. Now, he could have. Nick Folk, who made a kick earlier, I assume the mental demons were tough there as well. Does that happen for a quarterback? Do you have to just fight those? Like when it gets, some things happen or there's a little bit of adversity maybe, is there any demons that potentially get in there and you just have to battle against quickly?
I'm not really like that. I mean, because I think in order for him to make that kick, he had to start outside the upright.
Yeah.
And that's just mentally, that's really tough. I mean, I think there's times where you battle the uncertainty of whether guys are blitzing or not, or whether throws are high percenters or not, and you have a split second to figure that thing out. There are things when the wind really gets gusting in Lambeau, you have to throw certain balls more inside or outside than you'd normally like to, but it comes down to a guessing game, and you're trying to just put the ball in a good spot. I was impressed by Josh last night. I thought, he had a ball to Stephon there. I just don't think Stephon realized where the ball was. It could have been a touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how much that ball was moving. I mean, he must have thrown that ball probably, I would guess, 5 to 10 yards inside, even with a cutting through the wind spiral. But, I mean, the ball hit Stephon in the shoulder, It was that was a pretty amazing throw we had last night.
Can you remember a game, whatever, I guess college or the NFL, where you had your least amount of passing attempts? And would you be okay if you only threw the ball 3 times in a game?
Well, I don't think that would be necessary, we played in a lot of inclement weather. We played in pouring down rain. We played in dumping snow. We played in some really bad wind games. And there's little adjustments to the plan that you can make, and you realize what throws are your higher percentage throws. I still think you can run screen passes, you can run solutions, you can run keepers. I think you have to take some shots down the field, regardless of how bad the wind is. You have to find a way to keep them honest, even if you're throwing an incompletion. Because kind of like Ebe said last night on the telecast about jumping routes and wanting safety help, they tried to throw a couple 9 stops, a couple go stops last night, and the corner's just sitting on it because they said you're not going to throw the ball past 20 yards down the field. I think in that situation you probably have to. Now, the Patriots had, I think, 48 plays, and they ran at 45 of them. They had a lot of success. They ran a toss sweep on 3rd and 5, and the guy went 65, 70 for a touchdown. So there wasn't a whole lot they needed to change at all. But I do think that there's still a way to get some high percentage attempts in inclement weather, and we've been able to do that. I don't know about my least amount of throws ever. I would say I'd probably go back to high school, to be honest. I think in the NFL, in games that I finished, I don't know that I've thrown under, my first start ever, I think I threw it 19 times, maybe. No, I think I threw it 22 times. But probably not too many
100 years ago.
below 20. Probably not too many below 20 if I finish the game, or maybe any.
That's a broken toe, full COVID diagnosis from Dr. Joe Rogan in about 200 games ago. And you're like, I think I threw it 22 times, actually. I mean, it's absurd. Let's talk about, you talk about the Monday Night Manning cast. There was a couple earlier games where it was like 3rd and 1. And I think Peyton was like, oh, this is when you take the deep shot because nobody thinks that you're going to be doing the deep shot. If you're not running for it, this is when you take advantage of that thing. And I think watching you play, there's going to be a couple times where you just almost say, fuck it, and throw it to either MVS or Devontae. That is something you think like, hey, we have to keep them honest with deep shots. And you said even if it's an incompletion. Is there sometimes you throw it deep where it's like, this is just setting up for later. We have to keep this person honest, even though you know it's not going to be a completion?
Or maybe hoping for a PI call?
PI, yeah, maybe.
Like, I don't think you ever throw a ball thinking it's going to be an incompletion unless you got 3 seconds on the clock in the fourth quarter and you're, throwing the ball away on 4th down to end the game. There's always that hope that you guys are going to come down with it. I just think that, Mike and I, when we used to talk about games, back when, a decade ago or so, we always talked about wanting to take one deep shot every quarter, whether that was a go route or a post or a hard play action corner post or something. We wanted to make sure the defense respected the speed we had on the field and our willingness to take shots down the field. So I think it's always important to at least dial up those plays. It doesn't mean you got to throw them every time, but I don't think there's really any balls, unless I'm throwing the ball away, that I think this one's not going to be caught.
So the fuck it thing isn't real. Like everything has at least a little bit of hey, there is hope that this ball could be caught, even if it's double coverage with Devontae. I'll be able to put it in a certain spot that somehow Devontae's hands will reach up and grab it. There's never like a maybe type throw.
No, there definitely are some maybes, but maybe still has a percentage attached to it. I don't know what you and the coach would put on that maybe percentage, but there's definitely a percentage attached to it. And different players who are better at 50-50 balls, that maybe is a higher percentage than other guys. James Jones was one of the best contested catch guys that I've ever thrown to. And there were a lot of times, where I might not throw that ball to certain guys, but if JJ's out there, I would take a shot because I felt really confident that maybe a 20-80 ball, maybe is more like a 40-60 for him. It's almost twice as likely that JJ's going to come down with it in a contested catch situation. So it just depends on the guy, whoever's running the route, and the situation, and then the defender as well.
Say it with me, AJ. Situations are?
Situational, I guess.
Nailed it. It is. Every single situation, it is situational.
Would you go on the Manning cast? Would you do it, or are you worried about the curse?
Is it still going? Has there been other people who have been on it who haven't
not since Josh Allen, I believe, current player.
Draymond Green played, and everyone
They won
only
the
applies
next
to
night.
football, though.
Oh, the curse only is a
There
football
hasn't been an
curse?
active player in a few times.
Mm-hmm.
So Peyton believes in it too then. Peyton's like, I'm
Yeah.
not ruining anybody else's
They
career.
talked about it.
So maybe,
I think there's conversation about going on there in January.
Hey,
hey, those are big games.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Let's hope somebody else eats the curse. Let's hope somebody else gobbles that thing up. Go ahead, Ty.
Aaron, hope you enjoyed the bye week. Did you do anything fun for the birthday? You get any good gifts? Has this
Here we go.
cheapskate AJ sent you anything? Did Bakhtiari just kind of like rewrap your golf cart and give it to you? How was the birthday week?
Hey, thanks, Ty. Good to see you, man. I had a great
You too.
great birthday week. A lot of great messages from people all over the country, old friends, newer friends. When it comes to gifts from the Hawk family, AJ is blessed with a really amazing wife, and I think she probably takes care of not just feeding his ass, only eggs and chicken while making other meals for the other, 5 members of the family, but she is the one that usually, I'm sure, comes up with the great gifts ideas. I got some great gifts from the Hawks over the years, so big thanks to especially Laura. AJ sometimes writes his name on the card, but AJ is actually, I will give him this credit, he's a very good letter writer. So every time that he either comes to the house or we, have an event together, do Tahoe or some other event, he always writes me some really special notes, often inappropriate stuff in there, but I do enjoy keeping those for a laugh, in my backpack or wallet. So that's kind of his contribution to the gift thing. Bakhtiari, I still haven't seen any present from him, but his sweet bride to be is a much better gift giver. The Aston Martin excluded.
Well, yeah. Well, happy birthday from all of us, AJ. I haven't seen a single handwriting other than his pitch.
We stayed at his house, too. Yeah, for that event.
Well, when he comes in here, he just knocks shit all over your desk. That's kind of like his calling card for
and
it.
pisses in our bathroom.
Yeah, all over the floor. Yeah.
Happy birthday to me, I guess. Thanks, AJ.
Not on the floor, never on the floor. The problem with Aaron, though, the dude has everything. So if you got the dude a $4 million RV that had like everything you could ever think of, you would go there 6 years later and be parked in the exact same spot that you left. You'd be like, thanks, man. That's really cool. And there's still like plastic wrap on the outside.
Yeah, but it was nice. It was a good gesture. It was a great gesture. It was a great gesture.
Matters.
Do you spend on anything? What, traveling is what you spend all your money? Do you like traveling, right? You like traveling the world. I don't know if that's a gift that's possible to be gave, right?
Yeah, and houses are expensive too.
Oh, that Malibu one. Ooh. Oh, I seen that. Hey, I took a tour on that thing on TMZ. Yeah. I went through that entire thing. It is.
I know, we've talked about it. Thanks, Pat.
It's really nice. I seen that entire thing. There's one room, there's studio with the.
Perfect. It's changed a lot since that tour, I'm sure.
Oh, you built the studio in there. That's a smart idea. What's your favorite place you ever traveled to?
Oh, it's tough to say. New Zealand was fun. I went to Hobbiton in New Zealand. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, so I had to do Hobbiton.
Of course.
That was a lot of fun. Actually met up with the Bakhtiaris when I was over. They were over at the same time, so that was a lot of fun.
New Zealand.
Dalai Lama? Didn't you hang out with the Dalai Lama?
You hung out with the Dalai Lama?
Went to India and Africa. That was, really, really fun trip. Those are good times. Bora Bora, it's a good spot. Pat, I'm sure you've taken your lovely wife there before.
We were supposed to go like 4 times, and then COVID came, and then they came again, and then it was like, all right, I ain't fucking flying to Fiji, I guess. You know what I mean? But we'll be sometime.
It's not Fiji, though. Were you talking about Bali? You talking about Bali?
I don't know. Do I know it's a plane to a plane to a boat to a sky to a plane to an island? I know it's a long, long way. I can't wait to get there. The pictures look fantastic.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see the pictures.
Okay, cool. Well, have an incredible week. Good luck against Chicago. And it is time for something that we have been, clamoring about for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, there was a couple books that were made available in this one particular book club that were 700 to 800 pages long. And the man who founded the book club said, let's take a bye week so everybody can catch up. Connor caught up on the last 2. It was unbelievable feat. He put together 1,100 pages in 3 days. Mm-hmm. He caught up with everything. And although this book club started out as something that maybe nobody would take serious, here we are now, ladies and gentlemen, for book 13 of the Aaron Rodgers Book Club. Drum roll, please. If you remember all the way back, The Alchemist. It was about the universe. We are the universe. Then all the other books that happened after that, before now, that were absolutely amazing. The Power of Now, The Art of War, Sun Tzu, rest in peace, but your words are still ringing true today. The Daily Stoic Outliers, Fingerprints of the Gods, a 900-page expose on Egypt and the pyramids. Last but not least, the ultimate oral history of The Office that stands at a staggering 1,200 pages. It would be quicker to watch the entire Office than to read the ultimate oral history of The Office, but we do it because we love the book club so much. Book 13 is...
The answer is.
Oh yeah. Okay. We like this one.
Hey, this one's very meaningful to me. I was obviously super fortunate to be able to host Jeopardy for a couple of weeks, and I was on the show in Celebrity Jeopardy in 2015. Got to meet Alex, and always, enjoyed that opportunity to meet him, to follow in his footsteps. But Alex was such an important part of so many people's lives. You felt like family because, for me in Wisconsin, from 6 to 6:30 on Channel 11 was Jeopardy. And so when somebody's part of your life every single day for so many years, you feel this affinity to them, a closeness. And I actually got this book when I hosted the game of this book, and I read it before my shows went off, and it was really special. And it's an easy read. It's short,
I like that.
Like 2 and 3 page chapters. It's just stories of his life and fun little anecdotes about the young man that he was growing up in Canada and working his way up, and all the different game shows he hosted before he got an opportunity to work on Jeopardy. And anyone that loves Jeopardy and that was an important nostalgic part of their life, you're going to love this book. The answer is it's an autobiography by Alex Trebek. He started writing it when he was first diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. So there's different times throughout the book where he talks about his his own mortality and his impending end. And very touching, heartfelt book, and one that I actually I grabbed it when I was at the house before I went to my doctor stuff, and I was excited to come back and share with the book club this week. So thanks again, boys, and big thanks to Alex for being such a big part of so many of our lives.
Thank you, Alex. Love Alex Trebek. Love the fact that this book is now a part of the book club. The only book club I've ever been a part of now has something awesome from the Jeopardy man, who once hosted Wheel of Fortune before Pat Sajak. Doesn't get talked about a lot. Then he ended up being the Jeopardy OG. Now it is time for our debut song, I guess. Coming out of bye week, we did get a chance to work together on this one out the Malibu house. So go ahead and kick it off.
We were working on the 30-second Final Jeopardy song from Jeopardy, right? So,
yeah, absolutely.
You pissed you didn't get that gig?
Pat, why don't you start?
Hey, real quick, are you pissed you didn't get that gig?
Oh, no, man.
Yes.
Oh, you are? Like, it wouldn't have worked, right? Would it have worked? Is that why they didn't go with it, you think?
They could have made it work.
I don't think it would have worked based on scheduling the way they want to schedule the show. I'm, obviously still wanted to play, and you never know what happens in this life. Things can come back around. Things might never come back around. I might go back on Celebrity Jeopardy one day.
No.
You never know.
Oh, you're going to be hosting Celebrity Jeopardy. Did we just break a little news right there?
No, I want to go back on as a contestant. I go against Cheech Marin,
Oh,
and Sun Tzu. Be a good match.
Hey, rest in peace, Sun Tzu. Oh! Hey, he is pissed, huh? You knew that. You as soon as you brought it up,
I honestly hadn't thought about Jeopardy in so long. Is it who's the host?
It's that lady.
Mayim Balik or
she's
whatever.
good.
Oh, okay. Punky Brewster.
What?
Is that Punky
I
Brewster?
don't know if that's
think
the
so.
case.
From a show way back in the day?
I don't know who that is.
I don't think so.
What's
She was
your
on
deal?
Big Bang Theory. I know that.